It is a beautiful Christmas day here in Athens, lots of sunshine and the temperature in the mid-60s. This is right at the end of my stay here in Greece, as very early tomorrow morning I fly out heading to northern Africa. My idea with this video is to give you an idea of what Christmas Day is like here in the area just below the Acropolis. I also visited a couple of holiday events recently in Athens, and I'll give you a sample of how the holiday is celebrated here. Just because it was Christmas Day didn't mean that the main pedestrian avenue below the Acropolis was either deserted or overwhelmed. It was much like every other day that I visited the street. People walked along, looking at the sights and talking with each other. At various intervals, street performers were busy providing entertainment in exchange for a euro or two. I had seen this woman on several occasions, and I finally got her attention to make sure that I could capture a bit of her performance on camera. While I was there, she didn't play Christmas music, but it did seem to fit the mood. Her piano and tip box were decked out in the trappings of the season. There was one huge difference about this area on Christmas Day as opposed to every other time I visited. All of the major attractions were closed down for the holiday. That meant no one was waiting in line to get into the Acropolis. It was actually a bit unfortunate, as this would have been a perfect day to head up to the top to take in the historic site. There were quite a few activities throughout Athens that were associated with the holidays. I took in 2 or 3. The most traditional Christmas type attraction that I visited was the Christmas Factory. I saw that it was the 10th year for this event. I'll say up front that this is not the sort of place that I tend to go for, so my thoughts might be affected by that. There were tons of lights and other decorations filling the space. Rides and other diversions were in several locations throughout the event site. Shopping kiosks were plentiful, giving those who attended opportunities to purchase gifts for the holidays. Food seemed to be the big thing here. There were many places where items to eat, both sweet and savory, were for sale. Admission was €8, or just a little under $9. Then most everything was extra once inside. I didn't get nearly €8 worth of enjoyment out of my experience. Still, the lights and decorations were pretty. My guess is that attending with kids would make this a little more exciting, but I suppose that's the way it is with most things holiday related. Now for a couple of events that I liked a lot. The meat market was quite nice, and the spelling there is correct. The motto for the gathering is, "First we meet, then we market." Meat markets are held throughout the year, but this was the special Christmas Spectacular. It provides a venue for makers of all sorts of things, from clothing to crafts to food, to come together and put what they have to offer in front of the public. The Christmas Spectacular covers 2 weekends and spans 10 days.
It's a market that happens every year this time of the year. Many local producers or small artists around Athens or Greece come here to sell their products.
There are decorations, different DJs playing music, quite a few food vendors selling a wide assortment of things to eat, and a handful of breweries providing access to what they make. I was intrigued by the tent where you could get a cup of mulled wine.
What is it?
Yes.
Glühwein, hot wine, and spices.
Good stuff?
Very good. Christmas stuff.
There was a pot over the heat where the wine was getting its treatment, complete with a couple of cinnamon sticks on top. I received a generous pour of a traditional holiday treat, all for €3. So I've heard of mulled wine, but I don't think I've ever had it. Let's try it. The wine is there. Definitely the spices are forward. It's really good. It's always good to try something new. It says Christmas, that's for sure. On weekdays, cups of Glühwein were offered to people for free as they arrived. I attended on the weekend. I appreciated seeing all the items that people had made. Some were the kinds of things that you would expect at a maker's market, while there were a few surprises as well. I would have never thought about seeing uniquely decorated lampshades in a show like this. Over the course of its run, the show attracted more than 200 makers, from Athens certainly, but also from other parts of Greece.
It's a chance for us to show our work, to communicate with people and exchange ideas, see what else is on the market, stuff like that.
I actually attended during both weekends of the Meat Market Special Christmas Session, once with my brother and sister-in-law, and once after they had returned to the States. My final holiday event was my favorite. This was called Athens Beer Weekend Christmas Edition. It ran for 2 days on December 23rd and 24th. There were 10 to 20 brewers from Athens and other spots within an hour or two. Each of them offered some of the beers that they make on their systems back at home base. I dropped by both days and there was always a crowd. The representatives from the breweries were always friendly and they were eager to discuss what they had on tap. I only had one beer that I didn't care for, but that was primarily a feature of it not being cold enough.
So I've got a nice place to sit out in the center. I've got an imperial stout that is really tasty. This thing is really good, really strong, 12%. Best beer I've had here in Athens.
I learned about the special Athens Beer Weekend during the first week that I was in the city. I looked forward to it all month. I was not disappointed. I would guess there are other cities where the holiday celebration is more grand and the decorations and events are more magnificent. For me, however, I found spending the holiday in Greece to be very pleasant.
It's a very nice season to come to see the center and the shops.
From everything that I saw, the holiday celebration was continuing into the first week of January. Apparently, there's a pretty big event to bring in the new year. There you go, a glimpse into what Christmas Day and the holiday season is like here in Athens. It has been a pleasure spending the past few weeks here, and I will miss this city once I move on. For now, I'll simply raise my glass and say that I hope that Christmas was absolutely fantastic for you. I also hope that 2024 turns out to be one of the best years ever for you, your families, and friends. Personally, I can't wait to see what the new year brings. Cheers.